Long before cities, before written words, before humans understood the sky above them, there lived a small tribe of hunters in a vast, wild land filled with tall grass, dangerous predators, and endless silence. Life was simple but brutal. Every day was about survival, finding food, avoiding death, and protecting the tribe. Among them lived a young hunter named Karo. Karo was not the strongest warrior in the tribe, and he was not the leader, but he was known for something unusual: curiosity. While the others feared the dark forest and distant hills, Karo often wandered alone, exploring places no one else dared to visit. The elders warned him many times. The unknown world beyond their hunting grounds was filled with spirits and dangers, but Karo never stopped exploring. One evening, as the sun slowly disappeared behind the horizon, something strange happened in the sky. A bright fire suddenly appeared above the clouds. It was brighter than lightning, brighter than the moon. The glowing object screamed across the sky like a giant burning stone. The ground shook, animals ran in panic, birds exploded into the air. Then the fiery object crashed somewhere far beyond the hills, sending a massive cloud of smoke rising into the evening sky. The entire tribe watched in fear. Some believed the sky spirits were angry, others thought the world was ending. But Karo felt something different: curiosity. When darkness fell and the tribe gathered around the fire, the elders warned everyone to stay away from the crash site. Nothing good ever came from the sky, they said. But Karo could not stop thinking about it. Late that night, while the tribe slept, he quietly picked up his spear and began walking toward the distant smoke. The journey was long. The grasslands were silent except for the distant calls of night animals. Hours passed before Karo finally reached the place where the fire had fallen from the sky. When he arrived, he stopped in shock. Half buried in the earth was a giant metal object. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. The surface was smooth and silver, reflecting the moonlight like water. Strange symbols covered parts of its body. Smoke slowly drifted from broken openings in the structure. Karo carefully stepped closer. The object made a low humming sound, almost like it was breathing. Suddenly, he heard something unexpected: a small sound. Crying. Karo froze. He looked around the crash site, but there were no animals, no humans, only the strange metal object. Then he noticed a broken opening in the side of the wreckage. The crying sound was coming from inside the strange machine. Karo slowly climbed over the damaged metal and looked into the dark opening. Inside the strange machine, something moved. At first, he thought it was a small animal, but when his eyes adjusted to the dim light, he realized what he was seeing. It looked like a child, but it was not human. Its skin was pale and smooth like stone. Its head was larger than a human child's, and its eyes were dark and wide. A soft blue light glowed from the center of its chest. The small creature looked weak, and it was crying. Karo's heart began to race. Every instinct told him to run away, but something about the small being reminded him of the young children in his tribe. Alone, helpless. Slowly, Karo reached down and lifted the strange child into his arms. The creature was warm. As soon as Karo held it, the crying stopped. The glowing child stared at him quietly. Then it slowly lifted its small hand and touched Karo's chest. Suddenly, Karo felt a strange warmth spread through his body. Images flashed inside his mind: stars, endless darkness, worlds floating in the distance, strange cities made of light. Karo stumbled backward in fear. The images vanished instantly. The creature simply watched him again, calm and silent. Night was getting colder. The forest would soon be filled with predators. Karo knew the creature would not survive alone in the wild, so he wrapped it carefully in animal fur and began walking back toward his tribe. But the journey home would not be easy. As Karo moved through the tall grass, he heard something moving in the darkness behind him. Low growls echoed through the night. A pack of wolves had followed the scent of the crash. Their glowing eyes appeared one by one between the grass. They surrounded him slowly. Karo gripped his spear tightly. He knew he could fight one wolf, maybe two, but there were too many. The wolves stepped closer, growling. Their teeth glinted in the moonlight. Karo prepared for the final battle of his life. Then something incredible happened. The glowing child in his arms lifted its hand again. A bright blue pulse of light burst outward like a wave. The wolves suddenly stopped moving. They whimpered in fear. Their tails dropped low. Within seconds, the entire pack turned and ran back into the darkness. Karo stared down at the strange being in amazement. Whatever this creature was, it possessed powers beyond anything he understood. When Karo finally returned to the tribe at sunrise, the other hunters gathered around him in shock. They had never seen anything like the glowing child. Some believed it was a sky spirit. Others thought the world was ending. But Karo demanded that Karo leave the creature outside the village. But Karo refused. Days passed, then weeks. The glowing child slowly grew stronger. It followed Karo everywhere like a curious young animal. The tribe began to accept its presence, though many still watched it with fear. But far above the earth, deep in the silent darkness of space, something else had detected the crash. A massive spacecraft slowly changed direction. Its destination was the small blue planet below, toward the place where the lost child had landed, and toward the tribe that unknowingly became part of a story far greater than their world. Because the child Karo had saved was not alone, and soon others would come looking for it.